Annie. Good afternoon, everyone. I am honored to be with you today to have the chance to introduce our first guest speaker. He obtained his BS in Zoology in 1983 at University of the East and acquired certificate course in Interior Design at the Philippine School of Interior Design in 2000. He finished his Master of Arts in Education, Fine Arts, and Design at the Philippine Women's University in year 2014. Also has taken an online course in design psychology at Spencer Institute, USA in 2015. As a professional interior designer, he specializes in residential and commercial projects. He is known for his eclectic contemporary style and has been featured in several life
concern is safety. Okay, so ergonomics is very important. Okay, what's ergonomics? Ergonomics is an applied science concerned with the designing arrangement of things within that space to make the space efficient and safe. Next slide, please. So like this one, this is a typical plan for a person with disability. Okay, you have to make sure that when you, as an interior designer, when you plan that space, pwedeng dumaan at least yung wheelchair. Okay, and move around it. Okay, next slides, please. Another example would be you optimize the reach and to maximize every storage spaces. Okay, tinitignan natin yan. Dahil kasi 90% of the time, which the doctor would tell you, minsan mali yung posture natin, diba? So that means to say, mali as an interior designer, tinitignan natin yan. Do we make sure that the reach is optimized and the space is well utilized? Next slides, please. And even the seating. Seating is very important. Most of the time we're seated. Right now, we're all seated. So are you sure that the relationship between the table and the chairs are compatible? Usually, hindi. Trabaho ng interior designer yun to make sure that the seating, the relationship between the tables and the movable pieces of furniture within that space are compatible and they're ergonomically correct. Okay, that's for planning. Safety, okay? Another issue, this in the design. Next slide, please. Material specification. Especially now, sabi nga natin, a lot of materials that we are inhaling or eating or the things that we do has an impact environment issue. Like for example, paints. You have to know that the VOC. Ibig sabihin dito, the volatile organic compound dapat mababa. For example, if you specify a paint for the house, dapat mababa yan. Next, ayaw naman nating madulas ang mga ano natin dyan, di ba? Yung gumagamit ng mga tiles, ng mga spaces natin sa flooring. That's why the coefficient of friction is very important. As interior designer, kailangan mo malaman to. Kaya nga pinag-aaralan natin to. Material specification. Next slides, please. And wellness. Sabi ko nga kanina, when we were talking with Sir Jude kanina, the color is very important because most of the time, wala naman namamatay sa mapangit na kulay. Maiinis ka lang. So pag nainis ka, the mood changes. Pag nagbago mood mo, masisira ni araw mo, di ba? That's why color psychology is very important. Okay? In a dormitory in the US, there's a studies that most of the people prefer blue. Because, bakit? Because the psychology in blue, it has this calming effect. No? And then green is the next one because of nature. That's the concern of an interior designer. Next slide, please. So this is a typical example of a layout that I did for an office. Makikita natin dito that we have to allocate enough space for people to be moving around para hindi sila nagbabanggaan. Especially now when we have this pandemic, the post-pandemic event. What's going to happen next is, anong mangyayari dito? Because we have to now to think in the interior environment for the next pandemic. This pandemic is just an eye-opener. There will be, sabi nga ni Bill Gates saka sabi ng WHO, magkakaroon parati ulit tayo ng isang pandemic. That's why as an interior designer, we have to think. We have to be 2 steps ahead, thinking of the things around us. How are we going to prevent the following pandemic? How are we going to move around in the interior space? Next slide, please. So this is the reception. Ayaw naman natin na babanggaan. So ngayon, psychologically, people would like to bring outside in. Sabi nga ng client ko, sabi niya, gusto daw nila, opisina nila, this is an office space. Bring the outside in. Sometimes you just have to listen, okay? Listening to your client. Bring the outside in. So biophilic design would be a more appropriate in the office. Okay, next slide, please. So they want to see more lights, utilizing the natural light inside the office. Kung makikita ninyo yung the beehive is one of the design concept that we offered to the client. Next slide, please. No, these are executive office, and then you have the coffee shop. That's the next slides. Yes, no, biophilic. No, make it more comfortable. Bring the nature inside. Next. What do you have the qualities to be an interior designer? So if you think that you have these 3 qualities to be an interior designer, right on. We would welcome you. First, you have to be a very good listener. Why? Because listening is quite stressful. Minsan kasi bibigay na lang sa iyo ng problema ng kliyente. Ito yung problema ko. So you have to think of a solution. So you need to know to analyze the needs between the needs and the wants of the client. And then you have to be very creative to come up with a logical solutions. Okay? Hindi yung basta maganda lang, because then you just be a decorator. Because the decoration is part of interior design, but giving a proper solutions like safety, wellness of the inhabitants of the interior environment is more important than the aesthetics. And lastly, sense of taste. Taste or aesthetics can be learned, okay, can be acquired, no? But some who already are born with a silver spoon, medyo ano na sila, may mataas ang kanilang aesthetic levels. But some, kaya nga pumapasok ka ng school, tinuturo ka doon how to elevate your taste level and style. Okay? So, in a nutshell, what interiors design is all about. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, interior designer Marcelo Alonzo, for sharing your invaluable knowledge when it comes to your field of expertise.